Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and every week I like to do something that we call Dr. Boyce and Noma Langa, where Noma Langa, Michelle Moses, and I get together and we talk about things that are just really interesting topics. And so my very good friend, Miss Noma Langa, Michelle Moses, from the creator of HealthyBlackWoman.com, is here today. How are you doing today, Noma?
I'm doing great, boys. How are you?
I'm doing really well, and you and I were talking today about something that you wrote about these reality shows and some stuff going on with the Real Housewives of Atlanta. It looks like Nene Leakes sent a cease and desist letter to Kenya Moore.
Yeah.
So they're now suing each other. We know that they're fighting each other, but now they're threatening to sue each other. What was going on with that?
Well, actually, I wore my blogger hat this morning and I wrote the blog post. And what really happened was apparently Nene has a problem with the things that Kenya Moore says about her. So she went to her attorney and she got her attorney to write Kenya Moore a cease and desist letter and told her to stop saying things about her that are malicious and defame her character. That was basically it.
And she's as if Nene's not defaming her own character.
That was the funny part, right? And then Kenya Moore didn't even take it seriously. She laughed it on and put it on her Instagram and says, "Oh, look, she's threatening to she's threatening to sue me. So whatever." Now, of course, Nene has to go back and decide if she's going to actually follow through with the threat, because she basically sent her a threat that I will sue you if you don't stop X, Y, and Z. And she obviously didn't stop. She just took it a step further and ridiculed it. So now we have to wait and see if she'll actually follow through and take those actions.
So, okay. So when things get to this point where people are sending each other cease and desist letters, do you think that that's legitimate? Do you think that's real, or do you think that's for publicity?
I did say in the post, I was like, we do have to consider that this is a reality show. They want high ratings. So we do have to consider that all this back and forth is just another strategy to get higher ratings. I even said the same thing about Nene Leakes and how she divorced her husband and then remarried him again. I honestly question whether that was real. I think they may have agreed that, this will really, get people talking. A divorce is a big deal. And then, people always have that thing about, oh, they made up and they got back together and wow. And it really did. It boosted her. It boosted Bravo. It boosted the show. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was also for just ratings.
Well, people like drama, right? I mean, male or female. Two examples that come to mind are when Floyd Mayweather has a fight.
Mm-hmm.
He and the opponent go back and forth like it's personal, and they call each other names, and it sells more tickets.
Right.
And then another example I think of is WWE wrestling, which was totally fake. We know that, but these guys would literally yell it back and forth at each other and become mortal enemies and kind of behave in an over-the-top fashion. I mean, do you think that that's kind of the strategy that's being used in reality TV, just a very similar kind of model?
I hope so. Because my at the end of the blog post, I did put a life balance lesson, and I said, if this is real, and I preface that with, I hope this is not real. But if it is real, my advice to Nene Leakes, not that I would ever advise her, but is if somebody was talking all this trash about you and they were trying to get attention by talking about you, your time would be better spent doing something else other than pursuing them and suing them and wasting money, time, energy, effort, and so forth. So I am thinking that it's not real, but if it is real, I don't think that she should have taken that route.
Interesting. Okay, so I want to read your life balance lesson, and
Sure.
just so people know, you specialize in balancing marriage, money, motherhood, and money making. And what you say here is that your time is precious, and being a wife, mother, and entrepreneur, you must pick your battles. Getting into silly feuds and legal battles is not only time consuming, but it also drains your energy and fills your life with negative energy. If I were advising Nene, I would have told her to ignore Kenya's obvious attempts at drawing attention to herself. Living a healthy and balanced life requires having the vision to just ignore some things and stay focused on what matters. Your marriage, motherhood, and your money-making efforts. It's not wise to allow people who have shown you that they don't care for you to drain your energy. Rather, use that energy to connect with people who have shown you that they love you and that they care about you. Okay, can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Well, of course. One of the things that I can tell you about any woman who undertakes an entrepreneurship journey, venture, whatever you want to call it, is that is time consuming, energy consuming, and not everybody can do it. So to try and balance that with being a mom, and again, that's also a whole nother journey of itself, that if you did nothing else, that could take all your time. And then if you're going to do marriage and do it successfully, and make it work and give it everything you got, that takes a lot of time, energy, and effort. And to me, those three things are enough on my plate. And I would think the same applies to those women because they call themselves housewives. That's enough. You don't need to add more to it and create negativity, create more things to do. You know, you have to meet with your lawyers, you have to spend the money, you have to do all these things. And honestly, I don't think that's a wise investment of time or energy.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Well, I'm going to ask you one question, and then we can be done. I know you got a busy day. Okay, so I know Nomalanga Mushali Moses, to me, does not come off as a person that would take, say, Kenya Moore's job. I can't imagine you on that show doing what she does. I can see you on the shows helping people, but not being on the shows getting in the drama. What do you think about when you imagine, you know, a 7-year-old child, or one of your children? You have 2 children.
Right.
Imagine one of your kids turn on the TV saying, "Mommy's on TV today," and mommy, let's say mommy was Kenya Moore, or you were doing Kenya Moore's job. So you're getting into these nasty cat fights, going back and forth with other grown women. I think Kenya Moore got hit in the head by Portia Stewart last year or something like that. I don't know what it was. I'm sure Bravo made a lot of money from that. How do you feel as a mother when your child is watching you fight like a farm animal? Like, how would that make you feel?
That's a difficult question to answer because my kids have never seen me do that, nor will they ever. I will say that clearly the show's not for kids. My kids have never seen it. They don't know who those people are. However, I do think that the primary role model of any child, especially gender specific, is their parent who has the same gender. In other words, if you have a little boy, his primary role model is going to be his father. If you have a little girl, her primary role model is going to be her mother. You know, and thank goodness Kenya Moore doesn't have a daughter. And neither does Portia.
Wait, does Kenya have a son then? Does she have children at all?
No, she has no children, not to my knowledge, and neither does Portia. Nene Leakes.
Well, they are children, so I guess.
So
okay.
They don't have children. You know, and you know, far be it for me to judge whether another woman should have children or not. And maybe when they do have children, they'll make different decisions. I don't know, but certainly they would not be good role models, and I think that goes without saying.
Yeah, you know, it's funny to me. It's funny what money does. Money is it's the ultimate drug. It's the ultimate spiritual morphine device, in the sense that money can make people, I think, justify anything you do. You know, maybe short of just straight prostitution or something. Money, which unfortunately sometimes these shows get so crazy that it's almost like prostitution. You know, we need you to devalue your integrity. We need you to humiliate yourself. And do these degrading things, and you're gonna feel okay because you're rich and you're famous, right? You got 20 million Twitter followers, and everyone seems to love you. But you know, it does make you wonder, what's that like? If, let's say, you don't even have kids, but you've got all your relatives watching this. Your grandma's watching. Your Uncle Willie is watching. Your brother and sisters are watching. They've got real jobs. They're doing normal stuff. And somehow it's kind of interesting, you know. I mean, do they greet you as a celebrity and celebrate what your accomplishment, or do they actually look and say, well, what have you really accomplished other than getting an opportunity to go on TV and beat up other black women and make a fool out of yourself? I mean, again, maybe I'm being cynical in my description. I probably am. I sound that way, but I'm really thinking about that. I mean, seriously, I think that maybe in this quest to have this balance, this life balance you're referring to, marriage, motherhood, and money making, maybe just life balance in general just kind of means, sort of asking yourself, what does that really mean to be successful? Is success defined solely by how much money you make? If that's the case, I would almost say that you're missing 90% of the equation. Because there are a lot of successful people who don't make any money at all. Am I right? Please elaborate on that for me. Help me see my own thought here.
Success is your own to define. It's for you to define. My success, I feel successful only because I have what I aspired to have. In other words, I always knew I wanted to get married. I always knew I wanted a couple of kids. And I've always had a dream of building my own business. And I'm in the process of building all those things. So to me, if I'm not entirely successful, I'm working on it and I feel like I'm getting there. But not everybody's me. Some people, success means having lots and lots of money at any cost, or whatever. And then another thing is, self-respect looks apparently different for different people. And you'll see that. Those women justify their behavior. And they don't feel that they're doing anything wrong, or at least they're not giving me the impression that they feel like they're doing anything wrong. They're going after their dreams. They're going after their money and so forth. But I will reiterate that that's not how success looks for me.
Well, I guess the defining question is, if there were no money and if there was not a big audience, would they still be doing the same thing? And I guess we can't answer that question for them, but I think that's an interesting rhetorical question, right? Right, because that will help you isolate, and this is the scientist in me coming out. When you get a PhD, you become a scientist because you're doing statistical analysis and isolating factors and all this other stuff. But that's what I would run as an experiment. Okay, I would say to Kenya, okay, let's take away the money, let's take away the fame, take away the 20 million Twitter followers, whatever you have. Would you still be doing this? Would you still be behaving this way if nobody were watching and no one were paying you? And I think that says a lot about whether you're fulfilling your true purpose. Because I can say for you, based on what I know about you, I believe even if Noma Langa Michelle Moses did not have an audience, even if she were not making any money, she would be doing the exact same thing that she does right now. You'd be living a life that's very similar to the one you have now. But a lot of people can't say that, And I think that says a lot.
Right.
Would you agree?
I agree. The sad thing is, as much as I want to agree with you, I honestly believe that sometimes what we're seeing on these shows is those people's lives, and that they would behave that way. I think the danger of it is that we only see one kind of behavior and one group of people. If you know what I mean. People who behave badly are the ones who get the platforms. And there are people who are leading normal lives, but nobody really wants to watch me get up in the morning and give my kids cereal and then blog all day at my computer, do a video here and there, and then cook dinner and have a conversation with my husband and go to bed. That, to some people, is boring. So I'm not going to get a reality show to show you that. And the people who behave badly, I think, already behave badly most of the time, but they get a platform, a bigger platform to show their bad behavior. That's unfortunate.
All right. Well, I love it. That's very good advice. So I want to say thank you, Noma, for this great information. I want everybody to know Noma Langa's blog is called healthyblackwoman.com, and she's the author of the book. I'm giving you a chance to say the name of your book.
It's I muted myself out.
Oh, okay.
My book is 7 Life-Changing Habits.
7 Life-Changing Habits. And I almost guessed the title, but I didn't want to get it wrong. Because you know how it is when you say someone else's book title. If you get one word off, it sounds really, really bad. So, so everybody, it looks like Noma's screen has gone blank, but I'm still here. Oh, there she is. Okay, so she adjusted her camera. She's still here. And I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World. And one of the things I want to remind you of is, as you make that climb for success, and you chase this money and this power and this fame and all these things that you think are valuable, which they are, we're not going to say that they're not, understand the most valuable asset that you own is your life, this short time you have on this earth, and your sense of psychological well-being. So don't trade that for a few dollars. Make sure you can kind of do both. Establish that balance. And that's why I love talking to Noma Langa, because she understands how to get that balance. So thank you very much, Noma. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for checking us out. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from YourBlackWorld.net. And until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. We are gone. Peace.